If you read the title, you can look at the thumbnail. We're going to be discussing things you don't need to do in the first month when getting a Steam Deck. And why I say the first month is because there's so much you can do, so many things that people have advised you to do, or things that you've seen online and you want to do it and you bought that specifically, for example Emulation. But give it a month. I'm going to give you guys my experience. So the first thing you shouldn't do when it comes to the Steam Deck is do not over download games. Okay, I know this is very basic, but do not over download like 40 games on your Steam Deck. Play the games that you want to play. Download, let's say 5 games you want to play, complete those 5 and then move on to the next 5. Don't over cram your Steam Deck. So don't over download games that you're not going to play, that are just going to literally collect dust. It will just cram your storage and you probably won't even realize that there's so many other games to just play instead of the ones that you've downloaded. Now moving on to the second point, and that is downloading plugins. Now plugins can be small little things to just major applications or cloud gaming applications that you'd like to have. In the first month or even 2 months, I didn't even touch any of this. I haven't touched any of the plugins when it comes to emulation, cloud gaming, and all these other softwares that I could have on my Steam Deck. I have opted out of all of them. Reason as to why I haven't necessarily done that is because 1, I don't have an Xbox, I don't have a PlayStation, and 3, I have about 400 games on Steam. So with that being said, that's why I've kind of opted out to having Xbox and PlayStation like cloud gaming devices and cloud gaming applications, as well as plugins, amplify my Steam experience. That includes user interfaces, that includes like different fonts, backgrounds. The only mod I recently did, or the plugin that I recently did, which is the PlayStation 2 load up screen. Other than that, I haven't really tweaked or amplified or upgraded certain things when it comes to plugins, because you can do like the graphic updates, the FPS boosts, and the decky plugins that you can do. I don't like to go overboard and jailbreak stuff and do all those things because I personally would like it just vanilla. To me, I feel like I'll risk something and it might just break any second. Moving on to my third point, and that is emulation. Don't do it until you feel like you're ready to do it. Do it then. If you're going to do it in the span of the first week, then you're not experiencing the entire Steam Deck. You're literally, your purpose of getting a Steam Deck is to play your PC games, or if it is emulation, fair enough, but there's so many other devices that could do emulation and at a cheaper price. I would say, why would you opt to get a Steam Deck when you just want it for emulation? You have a vast majority of Steam library games that you could play. You have so many other factors when it comes to the Steam Deck. Only choice is to get the emulation side of things, which is fair enough, but I recommend you shouldn't do that in the first week or 2 weeks or up to a month, because you could enjoy your Steam Deck library and then you could realize, okay, now it's about time I could, dabble into emulation. Now moving on to the fourth point, this comes from my experience, and that comes from the protectiveness of the Steam Deck. I still haven't to this day got a screen protector or a case. Now next week or the week after, when I get paid, when my payday does arrive, I'm going to get a case and a screen protector. Haven't done anything that could damage my Steam Deck, but like, I'm getting a bit shaky. I've now realized that protecting your Steam Deck is quite important. Yeah, like I've only had like 1 or 2 marks here and there. I think I mentioned it in previous videos where I've got like a little white mark under like a grip. Say the first weekend, boom, screen's cracked already. Like, just be careful. You don't have to get a screen protector or a case, but I highly recommend you guys do so, especially if you've just picked it up for the first time, if you pick something up like this for the first time. Final point I would like to say you shouldn't do in the first month of getting a Steam Deck: buying a dock. Do not buy a Steam dock, or do not buy a standard dock that you could find online. The reason why I tell you this and say this to you is because I picked it up in the first month. I then used the Steam Deck as a console for my home or my room. The Steam Deck is a portable gaming device. You shouldn't use it as a console at home in the first month. That kind of ruined my experience, and I kind of left it abandoned for like a month or 2 after. In the first, let's say 2 weeks of me using it, I used to take it every single day, wherever I went, on trains, the plains or like outside of my home. As soon as I got a dock for the Steam Deck, it just stayed at home. It just stayed there looking all pretty. I loaded up and played Red Dead Redemption 2. I'm different now to how I use my Steam Deck compared to obviously the first month of me using it, or the first couple of months, let's say. If you want a Steam dock or a dock in general, I recommend you guys wait it out, because it depends on how many people come to your house, how many co-op games have you got that you could play with your friends at home or with your family. Like, there's so many questions that you have to question before buying a dock. You gotta answer those questions in your head of whether or not you want a Steam dock, because if you do pick up one, you could have the same experience as mine where it just sits there on the dock and looks pretty, or you could actually hold your fire for a minute, experience the whole vanilla side of things when it comes to the Steam Deck, and enjoy it for the first 2 months, and then figure out, okay, what else can I buy for the Steam Deck? Do I buy a dock? Do I buy a battery cover so then I could take it with me portably? Do I get an extra micro SD card for other games, etc, etc? Like, there's so many things you can buy. You just gotta wait, figure out how you're using it to then adapt to improve your Steam Deck for one, and for two, if you want it as a console, get a dock. But that's just how it goes. But yeah, that has been my 5 things you shouldn't do in the first month of getting a Steam Deck. Comment down below what other advice and what other tips you guys recommend for those who are a veteran at the Steam Deck. Comment down below your thoughts, comment down below your experiences that you've had and that could help the newbies about the Steam Deck. Have a wonderful rest of the day. Take care and peace.